Get up, fight gravity. Fight gravity. Get up, fight gravity. Shape your reality. Get up, fight gravity. Fight gravity. Get up, fight gravity.
Hello, everyone. We're back with the All-American Asian podcast. We're having a discussion right now about recent events, the violence, particularly in Monterey Park, a shooting which left at least 11 people dead, numerous others wounded. Just a tragedy. Vincent?
Yeah, I'm going to give the audience a timeline of what happened, what exactly happened. I think that will give everyone the context of what the situation is. On January 21st, Saturday, at 10:22, a gunman arrived to Dan's studio in Monterey Park. He proceeded in the parking lot, start shooting at all the victims in the parking lot, and proceed himself to the inside of the Dan's studio. January 21st is the Lunar New Year Eve for most families. So this is a celebration. A lot of Chinese and also Asian American are at this dance floor celebrating the New Year. And as the gunman walked in and he started shooting at everyone in sight. And after the shooting, he left. He proceeded to another dance studio at 10:39 at Lai Lai Dance Hall. And at that dance hall, he was approached by the son of the owner. The son of the owner countered the attack and wrestled with the gunman and took the weapon away from him. And with that said, no one was shot at the second location. The gunman left the location, the second dance hall, and apparently I heard from some source that he went to the ER and he left there, and the next morning he killed himself in the city of Torrance. So that's the timeline for the event. Do you guys have any questions on this so far?
Just wondering about that ER thing, but I think you're going to elaborate.
Well, the ER, I just heard it from some of the victims that described the situation from different news. So nothing really confirmed. However, the gunman did kill himself the next morning in his own vehicle.
Yeah. So how many dead this time?
11 dead and 10 injured. And we don't know how many of them are in critical condition at this point. I haven't get a chance to really follow up on that. But so far it's 11 deaths. Pretty heavy, guys.
It's a tragedy. Really huge tragedy. And did you go to the vigil and to pay respects? Obviously, the families must be really...
Yeah, I didn't personally go to the vigil, but I went during the day, during my lunch hour, pay my respect. I went to the studio where it happened, the first shooting that happened. And there are a lot of, of course, there are a lot of flowers, a lot of media were there. And also I stopped by the city hall. They had a memorial area for the memorial of the victims. So, it was quite somber.
Must have been very emotional.
Very. Well, to my surprise, there are a lot of news media, not just locally. There were, news from BBC, from all over the world. They were there because, as you know, Monterey Park, the city of Monterey Park has a lot of immigrants that coming from various part of Asian countries, and also from South America, that live in the city and work in the city. With that said, it is it's an international city, although it's 65% of Asian. In I would say about 60,000 population there. But it's an international city, so everyone knows what's going on.
So what do we know about these victims?
Well, from what I gather, most of these victims, they are also, most of them are retired. Most of them are seniors. They just enjoying life. Go to this, this dance studio just to have fun. And I don't think anyone expect to have something like this happen on a New Year Eve. And the next morning, supposed to be the first day of the New Year. And as you know, some of the Chinese, some of the Chinese has mentioned that on the first day of the Chinese New Year, whatever happened that day is going to set the tone for the rest of the year. And the year of the rabbit is not a good way to start at this point.
It's supposed to be a time of newness and hope, and
yes,
looking forward to
So New Year Eve, usually the family get together, come together, reflect, wish each other prosperity for the upcoming year. And something like this happened. I mean, I'm still in shock, to be quite honest with you, because Monterey Park is, we have a lot of event, because as most of you know, I'm the president of the Asian Pacific Probation Association. I wear the hat sometimes, usually it's off hours. And, Monterey Park has always been a special place because, we have the banquet there, but, that's a city that we consider home. So, this happened in our home, and I'm still in shock.
Because that's that's the newest suburban sort of Chinatown that's sort of taken over the old Chinatown in downtown, isn't it?
I wouldn't say it's taken over, but I think it's just expansion of the populations and people that kind of move from city to city, and Monterey Park is the nearby city that is close enough, and there are a lot of different cultures that people moving at the very beginning, really kind of melt into the various culture, and everybody get along. And this is one of those cities that we have Asian, we have Hispanic, we have all kinds of ethnicity that live in the city that really get along. I mean, it's really thriving. This is one of those situations that I think is mental health that we have been, I don't think it's we, but as far as the Asian American community, it has been kind of put aside and not really focused on, and also there's not enough resource for our community that really cater to the local populations.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, I think there's a lot of work and there's a lot of room to improve, and we have to find ways to help each other at this point.
Yeah, it did. There were some things about this that did suggest to me there was a mental health component.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys know about the gunman? I mean, that you heard of? I mean, that you heard from the news?
I understand that there were that twice during January, he had approached the police and reported that his family members were trying to poison him.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of suggestive of certain type of thinking.
Right.
And, that could possibly, I mean, to me, it suggests that there might be a mental health component.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out if he was married or he had a girlfriend, and apparently there are all kinds of stories out there that he has some running at the dance studio. With that said, he has some bad experience there, and we there's no solid really solid, evidence at this point. I mean, the motive is still
Motive.
Yeah, I would usually try to approach a discussion like this. Usually my tendency would be to try to figure out how to prevent it. But I don't have that feeling anymore. I'm losing that. I don't know. I mean, shock and all that. I mean, it's almost like something's asking me to just stop caring. I mean, what else, so what's next? Another Monterey Park incident, or, is it going to be like on my block, or, and what is anybody really doing? I mean, I'm not even talking about gun control necessarily. I'm a gun owner, but we keep getting, we have alcohol in our country.
Sure.
And it's got its downsides and its victims, but we've taken an approach to that where we're going to minimize the harm that it does if we can, in the ways that we've learned about it. Learn about alcohol, learn how it harms people, learn how to come at it from whatever angle, and minimize the destructive impact that alcohol has on us. We tried prohibition already, and that was not successful.
Right.
But I don't even see us really, all we have in terms of controlling this violence in discussion, and it's only discussion. That's as far as it goes. And it's, are we going to get rid of guns or not? Not even really analyzing if anyone studied whether that's the most effective approach to preventing this, being that this is a problem that has many components. So until or unless we actually start, putting ourselves about the actual task of understanding what's causing the factors, different factors, not guns included, mental factors, societal factors, whatever.
Yeah, we can blame the gun. Sorry to cut you off, but I just felt that we can blame the guns, but at the same time, you can build an argument that what if somebody has a gun at that moment?
Right. I'm not even, like I say, I'm a gun owner. I'm prepared. Here's the thing, though. I'm prepared to study for us to learn what it is that is really, the factors that contribute most to this, and to honestly accept what we learn, through a scientific approach, if it's the truth. And if it is guns, then I need to be willing to do something or accept something if I want to reduce this violence. I need to be prepared that if it is guns, that I'm willing to accept that. But I'm also willing to, but we need to accept if it's other things too that are, that are really going to be driving or reducing this thing. I don't believe it's just as simple as guns or no guns. But I don't believe we really understand it, because I don't even think that we're committed to trying to. I don't believe we're, as a nation, is there any entity that is really charged with assembling all of the information and knowledge about what gun violence is and determining how to diffuse it?
Well, this debate has been going on for years.
To me, it just circles around guns or no guns, guns or no guns, guns or no guns.
That's simple.
No, it's not to me. But then again, I don't know, because I haven't learned much about it other than guns or no guns, guns or no guns.
Isn't there?
So,
sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So if we think about the way that our technology is so advanced, and I don't come from a place of guns, obviously my accent shows that, but isn't there a way to, okay, I don't know if regulate is the right word, but to track all these guns and who owns exactly what kind of guns, and And obviously, semi-automatic weapons need to go because, you know, we're not in a world war. Obviously, you know, if that were to change, you know, of course, you know, things change. But I mean, we're in a society now that semi-automatic weapons are just so unnecessary. It just seems like a killing machine. And if anybody can get their hands onto these guns, I don't know if anybody, but you know, the majority of citizens can do that, then you know, I think that's really dangerous. And is there a way to track who has guns? I mean, they can track us with social securities. They can track how much you make, like a tax. You know, the tax guys, IRS. They're very, you know, there's all these tools that the government seem to have, and money. I wonder if there's something that would be able to do that, or maybe there's one in place already. I don't know. Maybe you guys can answer that.
Well, right now, I think the state already have a system where you have to register all the weapons, right? To my understanding, legally. I mean, the legal possession of any weapons.
But not every gun that's been sold. There are a lot of guns out there. And not every gun that's sold or that was ever sold was tracked or registered or even identified. And a lot of guns that have been made and manufactured that are out there have no records. So, and even with the magical ability to know who owns every gun, how much closer does that bring us to preventing people from getting killed by them? I mean, we might find out afterwards. I don't know though, through what, ballistics or something, what person owned a gun that killed a bunch of people. But in this case, let's look at that. What would registration of this guy's Tech 9 do to save 11 lives? That's what I'm talking about. There's registration, there are laws, there's semi-automatic, there's full automatic, there's revolvers, there's mental health, there are, you know, laws in different states, there's magazine laws, there are capacity laws, there are all kinds of things. There's no laws in some places. There's concealed carry, open carry. There are all kinds of situations, everything that's existing that's a part of this issue. And we usually just step ending like, again, registration or no registration. And if you follow that, what is registration really, you know, in itself, of itself, probably not much. So again, what are we really learning about the different components and parts of this issue and how they can help us or how they affect this violence in the first place? I don't think we're really committed to a full understanding as a nation. I don't think we are. I mean, it's like gang problems. You know, everybody wants to eliminate gangs, but nobody wants to find that gang problem in their city, in their school, in their home. So yeah, I want to find the gangs. Oh no, wait a minute. I want to get rid of a gun problem, but I have guns. I don't want to find out that I have to get rid of my guns. Not that I think that that's necessarily the answer, but even if it is, me even entering the discussion, if I'm not willing to go to accept that it's something that I have to change about, you know, how it affects me, I'm not going to participate in the discussion. And I think as a nation, nobody's doing that because they don't want to be part of the problem.
Or label as a problem.
Right. They don't want to accept that they're part of, you know, you could be part of the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
It seems like it's now, I mean, in terms of demographics, for American demographics, it's crossing the lines with the gunman and being 72 years old.
Well, I think that's the significant part of, we get that now, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, just saying that it's kind of just a general demographic now of could be any class, race,
well, I think,
status.
yeah. This one. Okay,
age.
so for this shooting, we're now we're now Asians, we're now part of the group too. We're in the club, right? We get to be, you know, elderly Asian men now get to be part of the club. You know, with
that's a
Dylan Roof
terrible
and
way to
with all
make it
the
on the map.
Columbine kids and all, you know,
Serious. That's a
we're
terrible.
like, so we're normal too, right? We're in there with America, right?
That's a terrible way to be part of it. Oh my God.
I mean, it's so. I mean, and that's all we get. That's all we learn. I mean, it's just. I mean, I'm really starting to like. I feel like it's trying to push me to stop caring because we just do this, and when we're waiting for the next one, we'll do it again. And
yeah,
I mean,
we're chasing our own tail.
Count people, show their pictures, talk about violence, but just sit in your chair and stay here where wait for the next one. I don't like to see people dead. I'm wondering how much I'm willing to give up or what I'm willing to change about myself in order to do without gun violence. And I'm wondering, especially in our nation, what we're willing to do. And I don't know what it's going to cost. I don't know the answer because we haven't identified to me in any effective way, definitive way or convincing way what the path out of this is. And again, like I said, I don't think it's just as simple as guns or no guns or even registration or no registration. I don't know. There's a lot of guns in other nations and they're not killing each other like we are. I just don't think we're understanding it completely, and I don't think we're trying to. It's just how I feel. Like, we're good at the aftermath.
Well, what if I'm going to throw it out there, guys? What if you're a politician and your majority of your fundings or campaign contribution are coming from certain group? Wouldn't you protect that? That source of that would I don't want to say too much, but at the same time it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, then there's some serious problem that we're not willing to face.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a politician.
It's more than gun control, I think.
Because you're right. What is it? The machinery, the complex. What do they call it? I mean, I don't like to get all conspiracy about it either. But there are institutions and relationships and traditions in place. Power has established itself already. So or money, whatever. I don't know. But then there's society. We are America, and America was founded on the gun. I mean, America is defined by the gun, from birth all the way through adolescence and into our adulthood. We are the gun. We're the gun of the world. That's what it is. I mean,
we're also the mass shooting of the world.
Yes.
The mass shooting, violence.
Right, the mass shooter of the world. Yes. I mean, there's other nations that are pretty good at it, but we're pretty much the best, I think. So far, we lead the world. And why? There are certain reasons I believe why, and I don't think we've really tried to, crack that code. I think it's a code. I believe it's just like cancer. It's not just, stay away from smog and you won't get cancer. No, there's health, there's diet, there's environment, there's exercise, there's treatment. What's going to keep a person from dying from cancer? What's going to keep a person from dying from a bullet? It's I think it's just not as simple as, again, anyway, but
apparently some statistics I was reading in one of the news articles was that there's already been at least 30, maybe more by now. That was 4 days ago.
This year?
30 mass shootings in January. More days in the year itself.
And I'm sitting here laughing because it's a morbid laugh because this is who we are. And I mean, we're just accepting it.
Yeah.
So
since this mass shooting, I mean, there were like 3 last week alone, 3 in California.
I get concerned because I believe the longer we don't take meaningful action, the worst type of action we're liable to take when we finally do take action. You understand that? I think that we're taking inaction so long that when we finally do take action, it'll be the wrong actions. Like we're just sitting up here, you know, I mean, this what we're doing right now is now kind of a drill that repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't really broken out of that phase into action, like to turn off the faucet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that the longer we're sitting around waiting, we're not going to have a good plan when we do decide to take action. Like, you know, what kind of action are you going to take when it's that late? Oh, we're going to try to go round up everybody who has a gun and take them from everybody. You know, that's what a lot of people are you know, scared of. I mean, well, I don't know, if you just wait until like there's a mass shooting every, you know, 10 hours and, you know, I guess then you're justified in saying, well, we need to take everybody's guns away, right? Now, was that the smartest thing to do? No, we probably should have been doing something like now or 10 years or 20 years ago. But we're still just sitting up doing nothing. And the longer we do nothing, the fewer options we're going to have for meaningful action, in my opinion.
Or, you know, the solution, well, part of the solution is to, you know, people illegally possession of weapons. I mean, they need to be charged.
Yeah, that's the law part. All of it. That's what I'm saying.
Reinforce
all of it.
Reinforce
not just the laws, not just the guns, not just the mental health. You know, put it all together.
Yeah, it's more complex than just a gun.
Because the only thing, I mean,
mm-hmm.
the only thing different about this one is now it's in Monterey Park. To me, I mean, that's the only thing different this time. It's the number of people. They're all loved ones of someone, and we're doing it again. Now it's
you're looking at 11 victims. You're talking about 11 families.
No, hundreds of families, hundreds of
families from the other shootings.
Yes, every person is touching 10 people who are being touched by 10 people. So how many 10 people knew each dead person? Mm-hmm. And how, it's so, you know, we're in the club now. That's right now, that's all I got to take away of, other than there's, you know, more dead people. Is that we're in the club now. We're in the victim club. Well, we've been in the victim club, and it's not even an Asian hate thing per se. Looks like, you know. So
it's interesting at the very beginning. Well, I think Saturday or Sunday. I remember there was a text or some email went out. They jumped right into this is like a hate crime. This is like it was done by the white supremacists. I was like, whoa, where is this coming from?
Well, it's easy to think with things, you know, but hey, now look at it. I mean, to me, it looks like, and I'm not knowing all the facts right now, it's looking like mental health.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the shooter. I know we've been kind of, you know.
Hey, Vincent, I want to just say before we do that.
Go for it.
I got this thing about the shooter. Okay, we've been through this shit 100 times. I'm kind of like this. My first thing to say is media. We don't mention victims of sex crimes. We don't mention minors. I think the media should also get together and not fucking mention shooters. Columbine, Dylan Roof, names, none of that shit. They're trying to outdo each other. They're all, you know, not all of them. But I don't want to glorify, publicize, brand or aggrandize some motherfucker who took a gun and decided to go get famous with killing people. You know, I want to understand. Listen, excuse me. Let me calm. I want to understand everything about.
I deliberately pressed that button on you.
Yeah, I want to understand everything about people that do this. I want to be able to prevent it. All of that shit. But this thing about how we all want to focus on that fucking shooter. He's a piece of fucking shit. Okay, sure. Sorry. Person with mental health issues, maybe that couldn't handle it. Okay, Usually it's a fucking piece of shit with hate in their heart. I know I have compassion for somebody that's got a mental health issue, but I'm saying as a policy that we, as a nation could probably do better at, leave them out, dude. Leave them out. They're the other than understanding, any understanding they're going to give us about how to prevent the shit, I want to leave them out. I mean, sure, study their actions, the background, but their name, their favorite ice cream.
You're not going to do a post-mortem report on him? I mean, just kind of analyze what he was and
whatever.
where he came from.
That's just my thing. The way I was thinking about how these things go. So yeah, go ahead. I'm off the box now.
No, it's okay. That's why we press that little button. I'm waiting on you to jump right on it, because I feel the same way, to be honest with you. I think that media is not really talking enough on the victims, and constantly bringing up the shooter, why he did that, and who he was, and all that. I mean, we shouldn't be even mention his name, or even mention or even show his picture to the general public. But
yeah, I mean, to me, as little as possible. That's my approach.
You still need to review some, but
sure.
not to the point where
right, analysis, but not
sensationalize the entire situation.
Yep. But I do know some things about him. Go ahead.
Well, obviously he's an elderly gentleman, Asian man, 71 or 72,
something like that. I heard
70s, and marital issues, failed in life, basically. He closed down one of his 3 years ago. He closed down one of his businesses, and that's all I know. Any other information you guys have on him?
Other than
I didn't really see very much information.
I just heard about those police reports that he had submitted. Yeah, and a couple of photos, and I'm not interested in that either.
But yeah, I can tell you this: obviously he planned this assassination at a moment where just ruin everybody's everybody's lives, and especially the new year. He really timed it, just try to really ruin everybody's New Year celebrations.
Yeah, well, he was successful at that.
Yep.
Yeah. I just wonder what's the best thing, what'll help the families right now. I mean, money, words, flowers, I don't know. What is,
but money
those
is
families
rolling
need
in for the GoFundMe org, and people are trying to gather, all the communities coming together, is trying to gather this money for the funeral arrangement for the victims. But there's nothing. It's tough. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, but your loved one is gone. How you can compensate that?
There's nothing. There's your life is forever different. It's forever fucked up, and don't expect any. What's normal after that? Good luck. I don't know.
It's like a freaking amputation, man. You literally lose the limb, and how you gonna freaking adjust to the new life?
I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't know, and I hope I never know.
Is it okay if I read you guys the victim? We're gonna honor the victim, and I'm gonna read the name at this moment. Yeah, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Okay. We have 11 victims that were murdered. Diana Tom, Mai Noon, Valentino Alvarado, Mai Wei Mai, William Lee, Zhao Jingyu, Miu Ong, Hong Jim, Yu Kao, Chia Yu, and Wing Yu. And these victims are between the age of 58 to 77 years of age.
Mm. And yeah, I know we've got some other seriously injured people.
Mm-hmm.
And, we think that I kind of think of them like, oh, they're okay. They didn't die.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Of course not. They just lived.
There are some heroes in these, people that were injured and even killed. I mean, they would kind of shield each other out from the shooting,
Yeah.
during the shootings. It was serious.
I'm sure there were.
Mm.
And that, I can't imagine that. I just can't imagine it. It's unimaginable. It's just, I can't. The experience of the aftermath must be horrible.
Yeah.
And it just puts a lot of like poison into the world, trauma, even hate when it promotes hate for what happened, hate for, people that could do things like this, just hate for, mad at the world. There's just not anything good when something like this happens. And I really just hope we commit to trying to figure out what we need to do.
This whole, I mean, even though I watch it on basically watch it on TV, I just, really listen to, some podcasts and things like that. But, it's like it triggers certain things like at work, when we interview clients and the victims, like the mother and parents that have their children got involved or murdered by gangs or whatever. I mean, it's kind of bring back all those feelings. It's really bizarre. It's just hard to explain that. It's one of those things that just put you in perspective that, hey, life is too short.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Adam, you okay?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Yeah. On that note, I think
there I know.
Where we are.
I've been thinking about this thing, but I'm empty. I just, nothing good, nothing encouraging. I just feel bad. That's all.
All right. Well, how about on this note, we'll close it. Maybe we will hear some good news from some people that are injured, and hopefully, we can gather more stories and we come back and talk about it and share it with everyone.
Yeah. I'll think about ways to just reduce violence in the world. It sounds kind of corny, but start with yourself. That's the best place.
Yep.
And maybe community. Communities need to get together more and more community.
I'm tired of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of this.
Well, I think you need to use this opportunity to, bring in all the community-based group and faith-based, everyone come together and, when you talk about Asian community, I mean, that's cover a lot of grounds. I mean, they're different languages and, and I think, we need more resource to support that effort, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, I'll sign off in thoughtful memory of these people who have now been killed in Monterey Park. And I just hope that there are better things for them and for the rest of us. We can do better, hopefully. I just hope for better things.
All right. All American Asian podcast. We have. Thanks for listening.
See you.
Take care. Okay, we stop.